Welcome back to the Plattsburgh State University Fieldhouse, and NFHS is our sponsor this evening. As we look out on the field, we've got the Saranac Chiefs that will be moving from our right to our left, and the Plattsburgh Hornets will be moving from our left to our right. Right now it's a little early to be able to tell any formations based upon these two teams. These two teams have faced off twice this year. The first game was on the 26th of September at PHS, and Saranac was a 1-0 winner. And then on 10-16, it was a tie in 2 overtimes. So I think we're set for a great match between these two fine varsity clubs, and we are away. And the first goal kick will go to the Saranac Chiefs. And Ashley gets into the ball very well, up over half. Saranac's pushing players forward in the right channel. And it looks like Zashin Abrams has got possession of the ball. They've got a throw-in the upper third. And what an opportunity for the Saranac Chiefs. Alex Tuller came out. Looked like he misplayed the ball, and the ball was just wide. Tuller will take a goal kick off his left post. Most of the Hornet players are central in the field.
No, he didn't touch the ball. I was saying he didn't touch it. I mean, I don't know if he deflected.
And it looks like Saranac's playing a 4-4-2.
Just went out. Yeah, he got lucky. It took a little bit for that.
Oh, he's holding on.
Nice job by Riley Kavanaugh. Good through ball to number 3, Riley Channel.
What was the matchup last night? What was going on?
And Owen Brown steps up, plays the ball negative, and a shot from the outside the left channel, and Ashley doesn't have any problems with that shot. Poorly misplayed first touch in the central by the Hornets, but they seem to capitalize. And Ashley quick off his mark, out to get the ball.
Abbott, does your radio work?
Ball's in the right channel. And Plattsburgh seems convinced to try to continue to work the ball down the left side of the field. And ball shielded out, and Ashley will take the goalie kick. Saranac stays central on the field for the goalie kick, and loses the 50 ball. And Saranac counters quickly. Ball's turned over again in the midfield. And you can hear the PHS coaches talking about being able to put the ball out on the wings. And again, good job shielding the ball out, although we paid a little price for it. Ashley will get into this one again. And Plattsburgh continues to seem to win those 50 balls in the middle. Nice job, Trombley, placing the ball on the outside. Comes back down on the left channel this time for Saranac. And that'll be a Plattsburgh throw-in in the middle third. Mac, what do you think, what do you expect out of these two teams tonight?
Well, I think that one of the keys for Saranac tonight is going to be their speed. They're probably overall the fastest boys team in this section. They have a lot of speed up top and out on the sides. I expect them to use their speed, as we saw early on, to really create an odd number advantage for the Chiefs. As for Plattsburgh, I can hear their assistant coach, Alfie Ledoux, repeatedly yelling counter. And as you can see, they keep trying to play that distant long ball counter down the flanks. I think they're hoping to beat the outside backs and get a nice easy cross and finish off of it, just like they did against Northeastern to knock the number 1 seed off and get here tonight.
Yeah, there's no question these Plattsburgh Hornets are coming in here pretty charged up after that 1-0 win last Friday night in Shazy over the number 1 seeded Cougars. And it seems to this particular point early on, we're only about 7 minutes into this contest, that they've controlled the ball the majority of the time in the midfield. Ball's out on the left-hand channel for Plattsburgh.
Can't do it now.
The Saranac Chiefs are coached by Calvin Hamill and assisted by Aaron Cross, and the Hornets are coached by Chris LaRose. And Ashley's been quite busy tonight early on in this contest. And you can hear the Plattsburgh State coaching staff talking about them to press the ball, pressure the ball, and kind of keep them penned in their own end. Nice throw-in by the Saranac fullback. Once I get a read on the number, I believe it was number 4, Alexander Strack. And the Chiefs are going to hold the 18. Good man marking. Ball's played down to the flag. And again, the Chiefs are going to put Ashley on this one again. We are about 8 minutes into this contest. The Chiefs have had 1 shot on goal, and the Hornets have had 2 shots. It's a cool night. A little bit windy, not too bad here at the Plattsburgh State Fieldhouse. And Saranac's going to put the ball out on the right channel. And a cross comes in, and the Plattsburgh defender is quick to head the ball outside of the 18. And the ball jumps back onto the Chiefs' foot, and they bury it. It looks like number 6, Nicholas Hamill, the junior, is going to get that goal, but we'll wait and hear the announcement. No goal. But the goal has been waved off. At this particular time, it looks like there might have been a man offsides over on the right-hand side. And so Hamill's goal is called back. And again, Saranac centralized on the field for Alexander Tuller's goal kick. And just like that, they get it and they take it away. so far there's been a lot of midfield play. It looks like, for the most part, Saranac seems to be doing a much better job now trying to, have those triangular runs and playing off the ball in the midfield, giving them a little bit more of an advantage than what we saw in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think to some extent this game is going to come down to midfield control. I think both teams have a lot of talent both up front and in the back. The question is going to be when the midfield can switch points of attack or transition quickly, like we've heard the Plattsburgh coach yelling, to really take advantage of their talent up top and outnumber or beat the backs to really get an opportunity like we just saw from Saranac, where he was just left unmarked on a quick transition and was able to bury it and just one offsides called, but they're still probably pretty amped up after that.
Yeah, the midfielders for Saranac, Hayden Buckley, Zachary Rainville, as well as Jack Mathieu, are probably key players that Calvin Hamill's hoping will give his Chiefs some midfield play. For Chris LaRose, players like Riley Channel, along with along with Riley Savastano and also Ryan Kavanaugh are keys to the Hornets' success tonight. Ball's out on the right-hand side for the Hornets, and they're going to bring that ball back central again. They've attacked the channels quite a bit. I think they're going to try to see if they can maybe get some opportunities and counterattacks off that central part of the field now. And right now the ball's in the air an awful lot instead of on the ground and finding feet.
You have to wonder, as we're 12 minutes in now almost, if the field's going to play an advantage for the Hornets tonight. Originally this was supposed to be at George Bendler Field in Chazy, and just because of all the rain and water we've had this week, the field is flooded and they moved it to Plattsburgh State. Plattsburgh High School has the great fortune of practicing and having a turf field to practice on and play their home games. Saranac does not have that privilege, so the Saranac team is kind of at a disadvantage in the use of the speed of play and the bounce of the ball on turf compared to natural grass.
Well, I'll tell you, over the last week here in the North Country, we probably had about 7 inches of rain. So any of those so-called natural fields definitely were deemed unplayable much, much earlier in this week. The Hornets had a nice opportunity, a nice little triangular run in that left-hand channel and tried to bring the ball back into the box. But I'll tell you, Ashley looks like he's right on the top of his game tonight. I was able to read it come off the mark and counter. Nice ball by Kavanaugh, tries to thread the seam. And again, the Chiefs have
I wasn't sure if you saw it.
kind of continued to work that right-hand channel tonight. I'm sure both these coaches have done their homework and they have a game plan as they brought it into this contest. The majority of the play for the Chiefs has been on the right side of the field, and I would say for the Hornets it's been on the left side of the field.
Yeah, both teams seem to work that far channel. There hasn't been a lot of really switching the point of attack to this near side channel too much, other than that one goal that was called off.
And the Hornets are getting players forward in the middle third. Looks like this particular time it looks like Kavanaugh makes a nice move around one of the players. Good defensive effort by the Chiefs. And the counterattack by the Chiefs, pushing players forward. They've got 5 players up into their upper third. Looks like number 2, Jacob Schiraldi's going to take the ball down the left channel, bring the ball through the central, and put it on the foot of Alexander Strack, who had the goal called back a few moments ago.
Now, if I'm Calvin Hamill, off that 1-2 minute, I'd be attacking this left side almost all night. It seems like their outside left midfielder has a clear speed advantage over the outside Plattsburgh back, and they're able to earn their first corner of the game.
Well, 15 minutes into this contest, and I'm sure it's going to take a little bit for Calvin Hamill to kind of figure that out, but I agree with you, Mac. I think Saranac has the advantage on the left side of this particular contest. And it looks like it's going to be a Saranac corner. Trying to make out the number. I think it's Hayden Buckley, the midfielder, who's going to take this corner kick. And it looks like you've got 4 runs for the Chiefs. And not a lot of trouble. It was actually put right into Alexander Tuller instead of outside the 6 or even more towards the PK line.
Tuller's going to be huge for this game for the Hornets. He made several key saves against the Cougars of Northeastern in that 1-0 overtime win in the semifinal. Whether he plays well or not tonight could be the difference from win or loss for the Hornets.
And when you look at Alexander Tuller, the senior keeper, I'm sure he's not only one of the 4 captains for Chris LaRose, but he's also a key leader on the field. You can hear him as he's kind of commanding his back line as far as shape and shifting, and also in terms of just gapping issues. And we've got a substitution. It looks like 23 for the Hornets. Cody Garrow, the midfielder, will be good race for the ball in the midfield between number 18, Owen Brown, and number 1, Riley Wilson. Again, 2 juniors going at it. Actually, a senior and a junior. Midfielder and a fullback. And the Hornets will have the direct kick. The Chiefs will have the direct kick. And number 2, Jacob Schiraldi gets into the ball. Nice ball to where he had numeric advantage in the central part of that upper third. And they're going to play over the head. What a great job by number 7, Dominic Harkness, to get ahead on that ball. That could have spelled trouble with Ryan Kavanaugh actually kind of taking off, and with his speed and his ability to control the ball and strike a ball, that could be trouble for the Chiefs.
Now I'm going to have to watch closely on the Saranac keeper. It looks like twice now and almost on that third on his free kicks, his punts, he's almost stepping over the line. I can't tell if it's the angle, but it looks like he's coming awfully close to the edge of that 18 on his punts.
Well, I didn't get the names of the officials that are officiating this contest tonight, but that's something I'm sure that they'll kind of keep an eye on. Adam Scarf is in the middle. Jeff Norton is on the far side, and Jim Schutz is on the near side. Thank you, Calvin. Calvin Castine's on the camera for us this evening. And this is going to be a key restart. It's going to be a key restart for the Hornets in the upper third. Nice throw in, controlled by, I think it's number 8, Owen Mulligan. He's quite a distance away. And Kavanaugh just poised with the ball, takes the ball negative, now kind of steps, does a little draw with the ball, pulls it back, and tries to come to the 18. And again, Saranac is quick to get on the ball and clear the ball. Nice ball by Kavanaugh, putting the outside for Owen Brown, who's got good speed for Chris LaRose's Hornets. And the ball is going to sail wide. So we are about almost halfway through this first half. We've got 3 shots on goal for the Chiefs and 3 shots for the Hornets, and we expected this kind of matchup, didn't we? Right now, I think for the most part there'll be some probably game transition thoughts by both coaches at halftime, but right now I would say that the Hornets are controlling the midfield.
I tend to agree. One big question for me right now is Saranac seems to be getting the advantage every time because they're more willing to use the flanks, whereas the Plattsburgh Hornets seem very centrally based when they're trying to find those feet-to-feet passes that I hear Chris LaRose yelling about. When they want to go longer, that's when they send it outside. But those feet-to-feet passes are happening mostly in the central, and unless they can get a good through ball past Saranac's back 4, I think they're going to have a hard time tonight just using feet-to-feet passes to get a win.
Well, I'll tell you, when you look at that Saranac back 4, you're dealing with the likes of Ian Zerlo, you're dealing with the likes of Dominic Harkness. Their 2 central backs got some good quickness. They seem to communicate very well. When one of them actually steps to pressure the ball, you have one of the others, of course, cover, and then you seems to like you have good balance away from the ball. So I think you're right, Mac. It's going to be tough for Plattsburgh to kind of beat that back 4. They might have to actually even think about maybe going negative a little bit, pulling them up and maybe playing over the top of them and look for those inside runs or those blind runs. And Plattsburgh will take the throw in. "19 minutes and 13 seconds left in this first half. Based upon their last matchup on October 16th in Saranac, where this particular type of contest had gone to 2 overtimes. We're seeing a similar style by both of these teams. I don't think they've ventured too far away with their formation or their strategies. And the fans seem to be into this particular contest on the beautiful Plattsburgh State Fieldhouse facility. And Plattsburgh's going to play a long ball through, and again, in this particular case, Harkness does a nice job of actually just kind of getting that ball back into the midfield. That's one thing I have been somewhat impressed with is Brandon Ashley, the sophomore keeper for Calvin Hamill, has done a nice job of trying to, pick out where he's placing that ball on those goalie kicks, on those free kicks also. For the most part, we really haven't seen Alexander Tuller kind of tested too much, though the opportunities that have come at the hands of those forwards for Calvin Hamill, they have been quite dangerous.
One of the biggest issues, I think, for keepers, though, and Tuller's got to be careful tonight, is if your team is controlling the ball or denying a lot of opportunities, one opportunity, 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, you're cold. You're not warmed up. If you're not involved in the game now, you're not tracking the ball now, then it could be a huge issue expecting to make one save all of a sudden in the half. That's a key save.
And it looks like number 14, Jack Balk, is in for Calvin Hamill's Chiefs. And I believe the player that came out was Zach Rainville, the junior midfielder. We'll see what this does for Calvin Hamill's midfield. Oh, a nice play on the ball. And for the Hornets, this direct kick, I believe, is going to fall on the foot of number 4, Michael Tremblay. Ball's put out in the left channel, brought back to the midfield, and composed as Owen Brown is, brings the ball, tries to switch the field, and number 23, Cody Garrow, can't quite control the ball, and Saranac will counter. Both these teams have played a very clean game up to this particular point, with 15 minutes and 35 seconds left in this first half. Over the head of number 5, Ian Zerlo, and it looks like number 1 really didn't have a lot of time or fought with the ball. Riley Wilson with number 10, Carter King, bearing down on him.
And the winner of tonight's game actually, I believe, gets a bye and plays the winner of section 2 and 10.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, I'm sorry. The winner of this game plays section 2. Section 10 gets the bye this year.
And we're not sure what day that game's going to be, whether it'll be the 5th of November or the 6th of November. But that's what's at stake. And these two teams have definitely brought their game plans to the Plattsburgh State complex. And again, it seems like Saranac is trying to play very direct right now and not trying to play the free. Great through ball out on the wing to number 23, Cody Garrow, who cuts back, tries to put a left foot cross into the box. And Saranac's doing a great job man marking. And that might be a direct kick. No, looks like it's not going to get called. And actually kicked that ball so high I almost lost sight of it. And again, you can hear Chris LaRose from the sideline indicating that they got to get the ball out to the channels, got to open up the middle.
One thing that I think could be key for the Plattsburgh Hornets is switching the field. I think this Saranac back 4 really loses its shape when you shift the ball left to right. It almost seems to collapse between a flat back 4 and a diamond, and even at some points it looks like a flat back 3 with how wide and out of connected that outside back is.
Well, it looks like Saranac's going to actually have one called against them here. It looks like number 6, Nicholas Hamill, is going to get called, and Plattsburgh will take the direct kick. It'll be number 4, Michael Tremblay, from the top of their lower third. He's going to play the ball central, and Kavanaugh will play it off his head to try to give a speedy run for number 3, Riley Channel. But nothing came of that one. And Ashley's playing the ball in the upper right. I'll tell you, this young man can really get into the ball. Saranac really hasn't had an opportunity to take advantage of that powerful goalie restart, but for the most part, good ball by number 9, and he's over the top of the net. That was Zachary Rainville, the midfielder, the junior for Calvin Hamill. We've got 12 minutes and 8 seconds here in this Class B contest in Section 7 on this first day of November 2019. And again, you can hear the Plattsburgh State coaching staff talking about winning those 50 balls in the middle. It's such a key piece. I'll tell you, that's probably the best opportunity that Plattsburgh has had to this particular point. And I'll tell you what, you want to keep Ryan Kavanaugh reeled in. The junior midfielder was able to get just a half a step, and that's all you need to actually strike the ball. And he wasn't wide by very much. But then again, we're quite a distance away from the field, so.
I think surprisingly for a Class B final, there's been quite a few turnovers tonight. I think if either team were just able to slow down a little bit more and keep a little bit control, I think that's where each team has really generated a lot of opportunities so far.
Yeah, the good opportunities, I agree, have been occurring when the ball has been kept on the feet and the balls have been kept on the ground, and they've looked for, where to make those runs off the ball.
Can we figure out if he's either...
Especially if they're preparing for not only the sectional final tonight, but if they're looking forward to playing Section 2. Typically, in the past, Section 2 teams play their possessive style, and high turnovers in those types of games means it's very, very difficult because you don't get the ball for a large majority of the game.
Well, what would be interesting is, again, whichever of these two teams does advance, when you start to get into play against Section 2 and Section 3 teams, a lot of those teams will play different formations in their lower third than what they will in their upper third. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in this contest with about 10 minutes left in this first half. Great job by the Saranac Chief backs, kind of shifting and keeping good gapping in that back line. They're up close enough to the Plattsburgh forwards to not give them too much space. And again, Kavanaugh tries to play a through ball to number 3, Riley Channel. And again, this may be a good shot here, good opportunity. And Ashley makes a nice save off that right post. 6 shots for the Hornets in this first half, 3 for the Chiefs. Ever since that goal's been called back, it almost seems like Plattsburgh's kind of taken control of this game.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that. Typically, you get a goal called back and you have more energy. You're really trying to press and take advantage, and the other team usually sits back out of nerves or fear. And tonight it seems almost the opposite since that Saranac goal has been called off.
Well, it looks like there's going to be a stop of the clock with about 8 minutes and 42 seconds, and a yellow card has just been distributed to, I believe, number 3, Riley Channel, but I'm not positive. It looks like his hands came up into the upper portion of the body, and he is coming off the field. And it looks like number 12, Nolan de Grandpré, will be coming into the game. He's over at the half area of the field. And it looks like Christopher LaRose is actually talking a little bit. To the Hornet player who committed the foul. And I'm sure it won't be long before you see Channel back in there, but he's going to have a seat for a little bit. And again, 8:18 left on this clock in this first half. 5 saves for the Chiefs, 1 save for the Hornets. And again, the direct kick in the upper portion of the low third for the Chiefs. And again, the Hornets are doing a great job with that back line. Great shape, great marking, and the counter it is. Here it comes. And number 10 does a great job, Carter King, making a move, and I think it's going to go off a Saranac player, and it's going to be a Hornets corner. Looks like Ashley is going to have to play this ball coming from his right. And this, I believe, is the first corner for the Hornets. There's been 1 corner for the Chiefs, and this is the first corner for the Hornets.
Yeah, the Hornets seem to really be excelling tonight on that quick counter transition. I think the last time we saw them down in this end really pose a threat is off a quick transition with the ball played outside. And then once again, we had another quick transition. If I'm Calvin Hamill, I need to either have my Chiefs either press the ball harder to deny that quick transition, or I need to be sitting in and have a lot more structure and compactness with my four backs, which right now I think he's lacking, as I think there's some structural issues going on back there.
And I'm sure that's something that Coach Hamill will talk to his players at half. Good opportunity for the Hornets on that corner kick. They actually had 3 runners on that opportunity, but Ashley was coming out off his line very strong, was able to get a fist on it, and then there was a particular player back and forth, so the Chiefs were able to kind of transition the other way. Ball's in the midfield. We're 6 minutes and 29 seconds left in this first half. Couple good opportunities. Good physical play, shoulder to shoulder by both these teams this evening. And I don't think anybody had to say too much to either one of these teams to get these players fired up. I think both Hamill and LaRose kind of throughout the week worked on the aspects of the game that would allow them to keep with their game plan. And again, Saranac player, I can't tell who he is, in that right channel tries to bring the ball across, but good shape by the Hornets' backs, able to kind of clear the ball. It's a Chiefs throw-in, and it's back into the upper third. I think Chris LaRose would be happy to keep that ball in those outside channels, with the way that they're marking in the middle.
Yeah, I think the Hornets are sitting in, playing very compact centrally, almost willing to allow that ball to go outside, not having too much fear, switching from a zonal shape to a marking issue. And with Alex Teller sitting behind them, I think they're confident given the way he's played in the past few games.
Well, we're almost inside of 5 minutes left in this first half. And it looks like we've got a few players that will be changing. It looks like number 23, Garrow, will be coming out. It looks like number 10, Carter King, will be going to the midfield. And again, this is interesting that they're going to let that clock continue to play while they're working on the cleats of number 12, Nolan de Grand Prix. And it looks like it will be a Plattsburgh throw-in in the middle third. You've got 2 players up front for the Hornets. Number 3, Riley Channel, and number 17, Ryan Kavanaugh, which we had already mentioned. If you look at Kavanaugh, he is the leading point getter for Chris LaRose's Hornets. 17 goals, 7 assists, 41 points on the season. Channel right behind him with 11 goals, 1 assist, and 23 points.
Once again, I almost think that if the Hornets score a goal right now, I think it's going to come from Kavanaugh. He's just generating a lot up top. Quick runs, willing to shoot from distance, willing to shoot up close, and he's making a lot of key decisions right now that I think could prove very successful for the Hornets if they come ahead here with a 1-0.
Yeah, there's no question. I would agree with you. The junior midfielder has done a great job of being able to read the back four for Calvin Hamill and identifying when to distribute and try to, thread the seam, and when to actually, as you indicated, shoot from distance, or being able to even just put that ball out in the channel and let the 1v1s occur. And it looks like, if you look at the Hornets' back right now, the shape and gapping looks good. The question is when they step, do they get the appropriate cover and balance to kind of pick up the other Hornet runs?
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
And again, off of this right post, number 12, Nolan de Grand Prix was just given some coaching incentive there to kind of, kind of step up closer off of that outside back. And Saranac does a nice job of actually playing that and giving their keeper the opportunity here. We've got 2 minutes and 24 seconds left in this first half. 7 shots by the Hornets, 3 for the Chiefs. And let's see where Ashley places the ball this time. He's gone to the right channel and also central quite a bit. Hasn't gone much to the left. And again, he's going to come central.
2 minutes remaining.
And the Hornets are going to play the ball negative. No, maybe not. I thought they were going to. Looked like they had some open feet there. And there's the negative ball. Back to the central. Hornets able to get this 50 ball, but a quick counter by the Hornets, and that's one of the things that they did very well against the Cougars last Friday evening. Their counterattack was very strong.
One nice thing I think also about the Plattsburgh Hornet counter is it almost looks like they switched the point of attack on the counter.
Yes.
The ball's coming from their back left. They switch it on a diagonal as they counter. So not only do they force a quick transition for the back staff to drop off, they also force back staff to shift left and right, and that can be very difficult for teams who aren't well rehearsed on shape during transition moments.
And it also requires that these players are going to have to communicate, and it's got to be really from the backs, from the goaltender first to the backs and then to the midfielders. So
once again, we see Tuller coming up big, but also we see Saranac really relying on that speed of play. I mean, this is a young Saranac team. I think even next year they're going to even have more speed. But right now, I think their biggest moments have come from speed-based play. And I'd be curious to see if they're going to try and rely a little bit more on that speed and quickness come the second half.
Well, as you mentioned, this is a young Chiefs team. They've only got 3 seniors, and they do have a slew, and I mean a slew of juniors. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 juniors. So Hamill will have a senior class next year, but the Chiefs aren't out of this one yet by any means. Great job, shoulder to shoulder, balls out, and it'll be
9, 8,
Ashley
7,
won't even get a chance to probably get into this one.
4,
Actually,
2, 1.
could be. And there we go. And that's the end of the first half. It's 0-0 between the Saranac Chiefs and the Plattsburgh Hornets. This is the PHS network, and we'll be back in a little bit. That's a great point, because against Northeastern Clinton, that's one of the things that Northeastern allowed Tuller to do, was to kind of keep his line and kind of, he's got great lateral movement, and we'll get a chance to see him down here to our right in this second half. And we're about ready to begin. Plattsburgh will have possession of the ball, and the officials are getting the goalkeeper's nods, and we are underway. And the Hornets quicker counterattack than what we saw in that first half. Going to get that ball in the outside left channel. Look for Jashon Abrams, the junior, and it kind of was a little bit ahead of him. Plattsburgh will take the throw in, and the ball's in the upper part of the Plattsburgh's lower third. Again, you can hear the Plattsburgh the Plattsburgh High School staff yelling out marks, making sure that all those red jerseys are picked up. If you're Chris LaRose, they might be giving number 6, Nicholas Hamill, a little bit too much space off that 18. And that ball again gets played out to that right channel. Little 1v1 in the corner. And the ball comes across into the 18, goes over the shoulder of Jalen Ablard. And the Chiefs are looking for a call. They're not going to get it. And Plattsburgh's going to pull up and leave the Saranac players behind in the offside position. What do you think Calvin Hamill's really going to... Seems like his instructions have been to kind of push that left channel.
Yeah, I think that's where they had the advantage in the first half with speed. I wouldn't be surprised, I can't tell you if Chris LaRose switched any of his backs around to try and make it more advantageous for them, but I wouldn't be surprised if Calvin Hamill wants to attack that left channel this entire second half with speed, get in behind, gain that end line, and then pull it across like we saw that early cross.
Yeah,
The thing that they need is just to connect on it and get it in the back of the net.
Yeah, well, I think the Plattsburgh State fullbacks are pretty much as they were in that first half. What's really been impressive is how low that their midfielders have been coming to help pick up once that ball enters that low third.
That's one thing that I think Plattsburgh does very well is they sit in deep, and then when they win it, they move forward as an entire unit. And that's one of the reasons why they can do so well on a quick transition counter-based game. Most teams either sit high or when they spring out on a counter, they don't all go together, and I think that ends up creating gapping issues for the team between the lines, whereas Plattsburgh, you see them sitting in, and then they almost spring out together.
Right. And the ball is back into the, I won't call him a sweeper because they play a flat 4, but it was on the foot of number 7, Jackson Ryan, and he plays the ball into the central, but unfortunately the Chiefs can't keep possession of the ball, and so the Hornets are at it again. Two Hornet players try to close down number 2, Jacob Schiraldi, and it's going to be a Hornets throw-in. He's going to come up the wing, and the Hornets look for an opportunity to again try to feed this right channel this time.
And from what it sounds like Coach LaRose and Coach Ledoux are well expecting that quick transition, long ball style with speed. You can hear them from the bench yelling that they have to apply pressure early on in that middle third, so that distant ball into the upper third can't quite connect the way that Saranac, I think, wants it to connect.
Yeah. Right now it seems like they're going to try to work all parts of the field, not as much in the central. A lot of give and goes, just like that. Nice give and go into that left channel. Tries to bring the ball back across the 6, which is what you try to coach, gain the end line, bring the ball back outside that 6, and look for those runs to kind of bury that ball in the back of the net.
It'd be fitting if a ball was to be scored that way here at Plattsburgh State turf. In reminiscence of the old head coach, Chris Waterbury, he used to coach that all the time at all levels, travel and college. Gain the end line, put a whipping ball about knee-high on the top of the 6, and just let someone run it in the net.
Well, the former Plattsburgh State skipper has been retired now, 2 years, and one of his former players has kind of taken over the helm here at Plattsburgh State. That is Chris Taylor. He actually was at Clarkson University before he came here to Plattsburgh State, but let's get back to high school soccer here between the Chiefs and the Hornets. A lot more channel play by both teams so far. Chris is asking them to kind of play with their heads on a swivel and look for where that numeric advantage is in the central part of the field, I think. Right now it seems to be kind of a stalemate in these outside channels. Quick counter by the Chiefs, but again, not to feet. And the Hornets turn around and they play the ball back to the Chiefs, and now we've got some control. Foot to foot, nice little triangular run. Well done by the Hornets, but the ball goes out on Riley Savastano. And with 34 minutes and 12 seconds left in this contest, again 0-0 between the Chiefs and the Hornets. And it looks
right now, I'm easily looking to switch field. The way this Plattsburgh team plays their back 4, with the deep center midfield, almost as if playing a stopper role, they play so compact that they're compressing almost not only in half the field, but they're compressing in 1/3 the width of the field. One quick switch and you're gone off to the races, especially with the speed that Saranac has.
Well, one of the things that Plattsburgh's doing very well is that even though Saranac, I think, is trying to stretch the field, they're making sure that they're staying up and they're not allowing, so it's forcing Saranac to play in a much more compact area, and I think I would give the edge to the Plattsburgh midfield as far as ball possession. if that's the way this game's going to continue to play out. The question is can they get the ball out of those so-called overload areas and switch the field and gain advantage in those numerical areas?
And there's the transition that we were just talking about with Saranac being able to switch field and get it back to that favored left channel.
Ooh, hands come up there on the arm, and I think you're going to see Saranac with a direct kick. This could be a great restart for the Chiefs. In the box, it looks like we've got number 10, Zachary Rainville, along with Jack Mather, and also number 8, Hayden Buckley. And 3 runs on this one. Again, it's a little too far inside of the 6. And Plattsburgh's going to play direct down the channel. And Saranac will counter. 7 shots on goal by the Hornets, all in that first half. 4 shots by the Chiefs. So again, as you can see, a lot of midfield play, a lot of channel play, but no real offensive attack threats. And again, that's advantage. Hornets have got the ball. It's a 2v1, and the Saranac fullback does a nice job of just getting rid of that. And that was advantage, so it's going to be a Saranac direct kick right around the inside the upper part of their lower. No, it's going to be a goalie kick, actually. Well, the goalie's going to take the kick. And again, 50-50 balls, pretty much falling where to the Hornets on those direct kicks from deep inside either of the zones. Plattsburgh's pushing 8 players back down low in comparison to 4 red jerseys.
Defensively, it's almost as if this Plattsburgh system of play sits in a 5-3-2 rather than a 4-4-2.
Right.
It's only when they switch to an offensive style that they really spring one of those outsiders. Really, it's their middle center back to play that deep center mid, or defensive center mid, and then swing the other 3 midfielders way up and really turn into a real 4-4-2. Nice transition.
Nice job by Riley Channel there. Actually was able to get outside of Ian Zerlo and get a right shot on Brandon Ashley. The tender didn't have any problem with it there. Right now we've got a 3v2 just outside the box. And again, you see a lot of movement by Owen Brown trying to find the feet. Now he's got it out wide. And it looks like gaining the end line will be number 23, Cody Garrow, but he's denied by the Saranac Chief outside right back, but it will be a corner. And this is, I believe, the 3rd corner of the game, 2nd for the Chiefs. Plattsburgh corners, I'm sorry, yes. Good ball into the box off the far post, and the Hornets couldn't get a head on the ball. Runs all the way across to the outside left channel for the Chiefs.
I just actually didn't answer this one. Check the game.
Nice shot by Ryan Kavanaugh. Just outside the 18, probably about 20, 21 yards out. But again, directly into the hands of Brandon Ashley. Not a problem at this juncture of the game. 29 minutes, 2 seconds left in this Section 7 Class B championship game between the Saranac Chiefs and the Plattsburgh Hornets.
Unless someone doesn't score.
And that would be the case. We'd see a little bit of OT. How does OT work in this smack?
Well, for NISFASA, it's different for the boys and the girls. For boys, it's 2 15-minute golden goal periods, followed by penalty kicks. If it got to the penalty kick stage, it's first 5 in any order. And then if it still goes on, then it's sudden death PKs. After the first 10 shooters, you can recycle through any player.
And it looks like Saranac's trying to gain some room inside the box, but PHS did a great job of man marking and just kind of shifting him and kind of taking away any kind of space that he had. Throw in by the Chiefs. And it looks like a counter from the box for the Chiefs. They're going to play direct, almost too direct there, and Saranac's going to switch the field to the left channel and see if they can have some success where they did earlier on in the second half.
Plattsburgh right now, for me, is
It's going
doing
to be a
such
direct kick for the Chiefs.
such a good job of having that high press system that I think Coach LaRose and Coach Ledoux have been talking about, at least early on in the second half. We see Saranac win the ball, and you see Hornets almost swarm, fitting name, to that ball and apply that pressure to deny that quick transition moment.
Again, a deep ball into the box by the Chiefs. They were hoping to kind of get a call on one of the Hornets' backs, but in this particular case, it's going to go against the Chiefs, and we're going to see Tuller step into this one. 27 minutes, 14 seconds left in this first half. A little bit of some transition compared to that first half. One of the things that I do notice is that they really seem to be much more intent on specific people in that upper third. They're not really looking to just kind of fill space. They're looking to fill certain people's feet.
Yeah, I also feel like this second half there's been a lot fewer turnovers with the ball. I think both teams have done a lot better job keeping the ball almost on the ground and playing for control. And then if they can win it in the air, play that ball in the air where they know they can win it, that's when they're playing it in the air. The first half it seemed a little bit less organized almost, whereas now it seems much more controlled style of soccer.
I think this is a much cleaner half, as you said, in comparison to that first half. The other thing that seems much better is that both teams seem to be having shape and gapping very well. Good ball there. I believe it was, I want to make sure I get the number right before I announce it, but good ball across the actual 6. And I'm not sure if it's 23 Cody Garrow, I believe, that put the ball across the 6, looking for a far post run, wasn't able to get it.
It seemed almost right before that transition that Plattsburgh was hoping for a call from Adam Scarf in the middle. I think that we see a lot in this game already with the earlier game and with the earlier call, and this one, the headsets making a clear advantage for the officials tonight. This is the first year that they've been mic'd up in high school sports, and I think it, one, saves a lot of time with the calls where that center official might not notice their flagman.
Well, I can say without a doubt throughout all of the actual semifinal and now final play up to this point, the Section 7 officials have done a great job. They've kept the games in check, and they've allowed the players to be the determining factors in who the winners would be. And the plays in the midfield right now, and again, it doesn't seem like anybody can gain any distinct advantage of the ball as far as possession's concerned. This one's going to play over Zerlo's head, and it looks like now you've got Riley Channel trying to play off of Zerlo and play the ball back central, and here we see Kavanaugh trying to move the ball out to that right channel, and good anticipation by the left back for the Chiefs stepping up. But again, I'll tell you, Plattsburgh right now kind of looks like Liverpool with their press. If Saranac doesn't get that ball out of their feet quick, it seems like they close them down so fast, and then it's such a counter.
The concession closed out.
Without question, I can say that Kellen Hamill has done a great job at half, talking to his Chiefs and getting them to understand the purpose of possession much better than in that first half, and it's given them some opportunities. Yep. So it's going to be a direct kick for the Chiefs. It looks like number 2, Jacob Schiraldi, is going to have this particular kick inside of the box. It looks like we've got Zashon Abrams as well as number 9, Zachary Rainville. And again, the Hornets just do a great job, as you said earlier, Max, swarming that box. not allowing the Chiefs to get a body on that ball at all.
I'll be curious to see if the clock winds down, or especially if the Chiefs go down a goal, if Calvin Hamill will move Giraldi out from the middle to an outside position. It seems to me that his speed is a clear advantage anytime he gets outside on a wing, and I'll be curious to see if Calvin Hamill will want to pull him out to create that advantage and use his speed really to create an odd man rush.
Yeah, that was a good opportunity by the Chiefs. Abrams tried to play a through ball to number 8, Hayden Buckley, but the Hornets were able to close him down quickly. 22 minutes, 40 seconds left in this Section 7 Class B Boys Championship here on the Plattsburgh State Fieldhouse Complex. And it looks like we're going to have some new players into the game. Number 14, John Bulk for the Chiefs, and it looks like number 10, Carter King for the Hornets. Out will come number 23, Cody Garrow for Chris LaRose. And also, it looks like number 12 also, Nolan DeGrampry, will kind of catch his breath.
Thanks, Taylor.
9 shots for the Hornets, 4 for the Chiefs. As you can tell from the shots in comparison to the first half, there have not been a lot of real quality tests of either one of the goalies, but a much more possession-based game from both of these teams.
I think that's one of the downsides for a lot of Section 7 teams when they switch from a possessive style to almost a fast break, long ball style, is so many teams in this area are used to that long ball, fast break, where they can get a lot of shots, get a lot of opportunities. But when they want that control that we're seeing right now from both teams in the second half, there isn't a lot of development in the build-up from the middle or the back to go forward and get the opportunities while still keeping strong possession.
I agree. One of the things that we see an awful lot in Section 7 soccer is we see a lot of direct play versus build-up that you mentioned. One of the things that we try to get younger soccer players to do is to understand the value of possession and to try to build up, even starting in your lower third. A lot of times in Section 7, once they get out of Section 7, get into Section 3, Section 2, they find that it's very tough to be able to kind of play those direct styles of play. And it's going to be a corner kick for the Hornets. It's going to come to Ashley's left with 20 minutes and 41 seconds. Looks like a ball just outside the 6. Good ahead. Nice header on the ball, and I can't tell who the player was that got the header on the ball. He's kind of sideways right now. I couldn't catch it.
The way this game's gone, you wouldn't be able to tell that Plattsburgh was actually the 4 seed coming into this and actually had to play the one and only quarterfinal buy-in against Beekmantown. I think right now in this game, they almost look like they're the higher seed.
Well, I think one of the things that Calvin Hamill mentioned at half is that he was very concerned with Kavanaugh in that midfield. I think Kavanaugh actually gave the Hornets a couple of good opportunities, and I think they were more concerned about trying to possess that ball in the central part of the field and try to look for your opportunities on the attack and not try to play so direct and allow for Plattsburgh's quick counter to get that ball into Kavanaugh where he can decide on distribution or shooting. And I think it's going to be a Chiefs throw-in just inside of the the Chiefs half. One of the things that, as you mentioned earlier on, keepers, when they get into games where they're not seeing a lot of action, it's kind of sometimes tough, but you got to continue to kind of stay on the balls of the feet and stay focused and track the ball really well. And part of that, it comes through communication. That strong communication with that back line from Tiller to his back 3 right now, back 4, although right now you're seeing the outside left back really pitching up a lot more. And again, Saranac does a nice job of being able to kind of strip the Hornets of the ball just outside their 18. And counter to the left channel. And looked like he got ball first. 17 minutes, 58 seconds left in this contest. Again, not a lot of shots in this second half. It'll be interesting to see which team actually is able to take advantage on the counterattack and kind of pick up an advantage, numeric advantage, maybe a 2v1 or a 1v1. Here's a good chance right there. There it is. And our first goal is going to come at the 17:36 mark. And I believe it was scored by number 10, Zashon Abrams. Just as we talked about the opportunity for numeric advantage, the ball comes out of the left channel. Nice goal by the Chiefs.
I mean, I can't say I'm surprised that that ball is coming back down that left channel and playing that mismark in the central. Once again, the Chiefs really took advantage of the speed on that left side. Quick transition out. Put the ball across, and Plattsburgh in that one moment as that ball switches failed to mismark. And just like I mentioned earlier with Tuller coming from the outside towards the middle, you hit that ball right back where he's going. His momentum's carrying him the opposite way, and it's going to be too difficult for him to really get back and make that save.
And the goal has just been announced. Again, it does go to the junior Zashon Abrams, and the assist is going to come to Nicholas Hamill, also a junior. And that's a big goal with just under 18 minutes left in this contest. And again, the Chiefs hadn't had a shot this whole second half, but that fifth shot is a big one for Calvin Hamill and his Chiefs. And so now it'll be interesting to see if Chris LaRose actually changes that formation a little bit and tries to maybe push a few extra players forward. And stoppage of the clock again, as it looks like Owen Brown's going to come off. He's kind of limping. And 23, Cody Garrow will come on in his place. So a little bit of a switch in the midfield for Chris LaRose. This direct kick is in a nice spot. Actually see 6 Chief jerseys defending that 18. Ball gets played into the box. Oh, we're going to get a shot here? No. Nice job. It was able, Grayson Drew was able to get a foot on the ball, but the Chiefs player was able to kind of get just a leg on it. Couldn't get all the way through to Brandon Ashley. And again, we mentioned earlier the Chiefs are the second seed in Section 7. They are ranked 10th by the New York State Sports Writers Association. They have a 1-0 lead with 16 minutes and 26 seconds left in this contest. This game, I think, has played up to all that it was billed to be. If you're Chris LaRose, what do you think his game plan is going to be, in the next 3 or 4 minutes?
I think he's got to find a way to spring Kavanaugh. I think earlier on in the game we saw Kavanaugh generating a lot of opportunities for the Hornets up top with his speed and his quick thoughts. I wouldn't be surprised if Chris LaRose goes from a 4-4-2 almost into a 4-3-3 with Kavanaugh sitting in that middle 9 spot, just because of his ability to hold the ball up, make the runs off the ball, generate opportunities, and be willing to shoot, and then just try and feed from the outside towards him for him to really be able to generate for the Hornets.
Well, I'll tell you, it doesn't take much. Kavanaugh, just as you were speaking, Mac, was able to kind of beat a couple of Chief players. But again, the Chiefs have so many players behind the ball right now that what they're doing is they're kind of closing down Kavanaugh with not just 1 but 2 players.
But I think it's going to be hard for the Hornets unless they've worked on breaking down a bunker. I think Hamill's Chiefs are going to sit in and play deep deep defensive line, almost block defense, springing only for a quick transition where they seize the opportunity. And Plattsburgh almost needs to take the first chunk of this 15 minutes and not play forward into that chunk. They almost need to play backwards in order to pull the Chiefs back out to give Kavanaugh the space he needs to really create and generate opportunities.
Right. Well, it looks like Hamill right now has actually gone with two defensive midfielders and only one offensive midfielder. He's continuing to play that flat back four with a pretty good gap and shape as I look out the window here. 14 minutes, 36 seconds left in this Class B contest, and it looks like the Chiefs are going to be happy with now trying to play a little bit more direct, where they played possession and were able to get a little bit more advantages in that midfield.
Yeah, more than ever in this point in the game, it's going to become very crucial for Chris LaRose's Hornets to really control the ball, especially in those flank areas. You're going to see the Saranac Chiefs wanting to sit very central, very compact, because of that 1-0 lead. And unless you can pull them out or really get forward to the end line where all of those Chiefs are facing their own goal and then whip the ball in, it's going to be a very difficult night, I think, for the Hornets, minus maybe a lucky break here or there.
Well, a nice corner opportunity right there by the Hornets, and it was Ryan Kavanaugh, the junior midfielder, that was able to get ahead on it, but a little bit too much, and it kind of clears the bar and ends up on top of the net, and the Chiefs will have the goalie kick with 13 minutes and 34 seconds left in this second half.
5 minutes. Only if circumstances. The plasma themselves keeps running. The winning teams.
Yeah, so they're not killing them.
Yeah.
And again, we keep on looking to see if Chris LaRose is actually sending in any special instructions from the sideline. We can't see anything. It doesn't look like he's changed his offensive formation. And what I mean by that, it's not a different formation in an upper third. Although it does look like he's kind of pushed one midfielder forward.
This is one of the hard things about coaching soccer and playing soccer compared to a lot of other sports like football or basketball, is the lack of timeouts. Soccer is much more player-centric, where the players have to be able to know what to do almost on their own. And things like this, moments like this, requires almost a lot of leadership on the field if Chris LaRose wants to change his formation, change his system of play here. It's going to require a lot of leadership from the Hornets on the field, since he doesn't have time to bring those players in and really talk them through exactly what's going to happen.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're Calvin Hamill, you've got to be really happy with what you've seen from Zerlo and Harkness in those center midfield or those center back positions. They've done a great job of not allowing a lot of space and time once that ball's entered into their lower third, and they're not allowing those players to turn or shoot. As we have often talked before, Mac, it's tough to develop natural strikers, but you got to be able to sometimes, when that ball gets played in deep into your feet like that, play that ball negative. Take that touch negative to give yourself, space and time to kind of turn, lock, load, and then, of course, deliver the strike. Chiefs are going to work down that left channel. And we're inside of 12 minutes in this contest. The Chiefs have 8 saves in this contest to the Hornets 2. And Teller will get a chance to kind of get into one here. And again, the PHS coaching staff has talked about getting numeric advantage in that central area. One big advantage I've seen in this second half is I think Calvin Hamill's done a great job of telling his players that, they were giving Plattsburgh too much time and space on the ball in the midfield. And they've kind of, really pressured the ball, I think a lot more than what they did in that first half. And nice throw-in by number 4, Alexander Strack, trying to find the body of Hayden Buckley, the sophomore midfielder. And Again, nice poised possession with the ball by the Hornets, building up out of the back. And they're going to try to play that through ball. And now number 3 plays the ball negative. That is Riley Channel, and plays off the ball well. And going to gain end line. Number 11, Grayson Giroux, tries to play the cross, but it's not out far enough from the goalie, and Ashley's going to play that ball relatively easily.
Etc. to the trash. This also makes for a smooth transition to the next contest. We greatly appreciate your anticipated cooperation. You made me laugh.
And then ball's going to get played by the Chiefs down the channel. And great job by the Hornet fullback, number 4, Michael Tromboy, to kind of shield Tuller from any opposition there. Got to start getting that ball forward and much quicker, Mac, if Chris LaRose and the Hornets are going to have a chance in this contest.
Yeah, and this is one of those hard things if you make a quick change at halftime where we see the Hornets have played much more possessive style this half. I almost think that to get it out of their end right now, they almost have to play over the top of the Saranac backs and let Kavanaugh or let number 3 go for a run and try and pull them out. And at least if you can't beat them on that run, and who knows, maybe you do and you get lucky, at least if you don't, at least those Saranac backs are a little bit more apprehensive coming up, and they're going to sit in a little deeper, and that will give you the space that you need to really play inside of them that Saranac's trying to right now, and I just don't think it's working out for them in the way that Plattsburgh wants.
Well, a couple of times that Plattsburgh's had opportunities even a few seconds ago to gain that end line. You know, the ball was misplayed by the Hornet player, and it goes out, and again, restart by the Chiefs. And we're back into the midfield. Now the upper part of the lower third for the Chiefs. They definitely have numbers across that 18. On any given moment, they've got between 5 and 7 players behind the ball. And it's going to be a direct, or did that go off? That's going to be a corner. And this time it's going to come to Ashley's right, or from Ashley's right.
I'll be curious to see if Chris LaRose starts his Hornets to shoot from further out with the numbers that Saranac's putting in the box. If you shoot low, who knows the rebounds and the bounces you might get, and deflections are by far the hardest thing for a keeper to save if it bounces off, and especially when you have 5, 6, 7 legs in the box. And maybe it's a block shot, but maybe it's the deflection in the bottom right corner, bottom left corner that you need to tie the game here.
Well, you raised a good point. We haven't seen a lot of shots from the perimeter, by the Hornets, and we know that they've got some players that can strike that ball from 25 yards.
I think the Hornets seem much like the NCCS Cougar girls that just won the Class B final tonight. Much more technical team that wants to get inside the 18 and inside close to that and finish on that nice, beautiful, just tap almost into the corner. Whereas we see from the Chiefs and a lot more willingness almost to shoot from wherever they get the opportunity to half step and just shoot the ball, and who knows how it's going to fly.
Right. Well, the Chiefs just had another opportunity to move the ball down that left channel. We're inside of 7 minutes in this Class B championship game. And I'm sure Calvin Hamill has probably talked to his players and said, look, just get the ball in, take the ball to the flag, try to kill some time. Let's try to make this, put less time on the clock for the Hornets. The more we keep possession, the better off that we're going to be. And I think it's going to be a Chiefs throw-in in the upper third. Ball gets played. Nice little give and go there. And it looks like it goes out off the Chiefs or an obstruction. And the Hornets have the direct kick from deep in their own zone. Trying to play the ball central. There's no Hornet players at all in that central space. And the ball gets played on the outside channel to number 6, Riley Savastano. Back to the central to number 17, Ryan Kavanaugh. Again, it goes off a Chief player, and they're going to counter. Nice job by number 7, Jackson Ryan, with that tackle. A little slide tackle, able to get all ball.
and we're just outside of 5 minutes away from almost a repeat of the 2017 finals, with the NCCS Cougars winning the Class B girls title here for Section 7 and the Saranac Chiefs winning it for the boys. However, this time it'll be Calvin Hamill's first Section 7 final. 2 years ago, Tom Harrigan was the varsity coach for Saranac. This year is his second year at the helm for the Chiefs.
And we're under 5 minutes in this contest, and you can hear all the different instructions being yelled in by LaRose and Alfie Ledoux, the PHS coaching staff, trying to find some means of cracking this back seven, I'm going to call it, the back seven of the Chiefs, and they are definitely bunkered in without question.
And if the Chiefs are able to win Tuesday night, they'll be heading down to Section 2 to play the winner of Ichabod Crane, the all-too-familiar Ichabod Crane from Section 2, and the winner of that game against Schuylerville from Section 2. So whoever wins that game, which is being played tomorrow in Section 2, which you can tune into on the NFHS network, the winner of that game will play the winner of this game tonight, as of right now, the Chiefs, Tuesday in Section 2.
And that should be a great contest for whichever team actually advances to that game. The Hornets have less than 4 minutes left in their Section 7 Class B bid. They're trying to play, again, a little bit more direct, as they should have to do, being down a goal. They're putting a lot of pressure on that midfielder, Ryan Kavanaugh. And the Chiefs are pushing 2 players forward, but again, keeping 5 players behind the ball and allowing, again, very little movement in that central part of the field. It's almost like they got to, almost bring the ball central and then bring it out, open up the middle, and then try to, maybe with a nice ball across the box, see if they can get something.
Yeah, I think this is the hardest part for most high school athletes, and even in the professional circuit right now for soccer, what we see a lot of is a lot of teams have a difficult time really breaking down a block bunker style defense, and until you can get that defense to really spread and move out and create gaps where you can really excel, you either have to shoot from distance and hope for a fly, hope for a deflection, or you have to find a way to get them spread out so you can play those quick 2v1s and have the space to challenge 1v1 and hopefully get in to score like the Plattsburgh Hornets are so used to.
And yet you don't see a lot of teams around here play the negative style to break down bunkers and kind of open up behind the ball. But you mentioned a very good point. When you start playing out of Section 7, that's going to become a key point. And again, we're inside of 2 minutes and 25 seconds left in this Class B contest, and the Hornets are trying with all that they have to try to force at least overtime here. And it looks like they're going to push almost everybody forward. They're only going to leave 3 backs, and the comeback backs will kind of take care of that back line for Chris LaRose. Again, now a lot of nice little give and goes, but again, balls off the mark. If you're going to play compact and central like that, you got to make sure you're finding the feet. Even off by just 6-8 inches can make a difference. And Tuller's going to come outside of his box, play the ball to his central midfielder, number 4, Michael Trombley, who's going to try to find, again, the central part of the field. And again, ball's moving forward, and the Chiefs are going to hold on to it, and they're just going to kind of keep it and hope for a foul. And again, the hands came up by number 23, Cody Garrow. And with 1 minute and 26 seconds left in this contest, it's going to be a Saranac direct kick. And the yellow card comes out for number 23, Cody Garrow. The senior midfielder is going to kind of step off here, and it probably will be his last step on the pitch during his high school soccer career, and as I could see, he seems a little bit upset.
We do have an update from Section 3. Central Valley Academy was able to beat West Hill 3-1 tonight. So the Class B Northeastern Clinton girls, who won the 4:30 showdown tonight and took the Section 7 crown, will be playing in Syracuse as well on Tuesday. So both Section 7 teams play Tuesday. The boys, as of right now, the Chiefs will be playing in Section 2 against the winner of Ichabod and Schuylerville. And the girls, Northeastern Clinton, will be playing in Syracuse, New York, against Section 3's Central Valley Academy. Both games you can tune into on the NFHS PHS network, Section 2 and Section 3 respectively, to catch those games.
And we are inside of 1 minute of play. And I got to tell you, Calvin Hamill's got to be really happy with Zashon Abrams. Not only has he scored their only goal of this game, but he just did a great job of controlling the ball in the upper right-hand corner of the Plattsburgh's lower third. And it looks like Plattsburgh's going to try to get a couple more opportunities here in this contest, but the Chiefs have done a great job with their shape in that back and kind of kept the Hornets off the board.
We're about 20 seconds away from a repeat of the 2017 final with the Northeastern Clinton girls and the Saranac Chief boys. And it looks like we're about 20 seconds away from Calvin Hamill's first ever Section 7 title for varsity boys soccer.
And I'll tell you, even Plattsburgh's trying to push everybody forward, including Alexander Tuller, their keeper. They've got him way outside the arc, which is not a bad idea if you've got good ball control in your upper third, but in this particular case, they're worried about the counter. So if the ball clears over the fullbacks' heads, they want Tuller to be able to kind of put that ball back into play because, as you know, 20 seconds isn't going to be much of an opportunity for these Hornets.
I dare say that with the 2 late yellow cards and having to pull 2 of his top-notch players off, that this game is, if not already, done for the Hornets, and we can hear the countdown now.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And this game is in the books, and you can see that Calvin Hamill's out there. We're going to take a quick break here on the NFHS network, and we'll be back in 1 minute to wrap up.
20 seconds.
See, it was a minute. No, I'm talking
I
about
looped it. I looped the ad. 10. And we're back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we are back here on the Plattsburgh State University Fieldhouse Complex, where the Section 7 Class B Saranac Chiefs, seeded number 2, have knocked off the number 4 seed Plattsburgh Hornets on a goal from Nicholas Hamill, the junior, and Calvin Hamill has now experienced his first Section 7 title. Both teams have just gone through their traditional handshakes, and we're going to turn this over to Calvin Castine as both teams will be recognized and the Section 7 banner and all the different trophy presentation will occur. I don't know what they want you to do.
Just pick up your head. It'll pick up your voice.
Can we have the captains of the Saranac Chiefs come to the midfield to present the trophy? Will be Rob McCullough, Section 7 boys soccer chairman.
And as we heard, Section 7 longtime Chairman Rob McCullough, also a name you probably recognize around New York State soccer. He is the Shazy Central boys varsity coach. I can't tell you how many state titles that he's won. 9, I'm being told. So, and the 4 captains are
2019 Section 7 Class B champions, Saranac Chiefs.
And here we are. We're going to wrap up. We again want to thank Calvin Castine on the camera, and we want to thank McKenna Hunter on color, and I am Rick Hunter on behalf of the NFHS Network. Have a good evening.